Hello and welcome to the 9 Years TV post-match live show after the Dons have had a 1-1 draw against Shrewsbury Town. Matt, initial thoughts after a very promising Dons performance has resulted in only 1 point.
Should have been 2-1. Should have been, there was a predicted 2-1. A chance near the end, Rudy takes it off of Cosgrove's foot. I don't think Shrewsbury offered masses. I just think it feels like 2 points dropped rather than a point down.
Rob, that big chance for Aaron Cosgrove that Rudy snatched off him with trying with the back heel. Do you think it's 2 points dropped for the Dons today?
I don't know. I think on the balance of play, I don't feel like we created a lot, to be honest with you. I think, like I said, that was only second half chance I could think of. If Cosgrove maybe gave him a shout, he would have had a better chance. But we never really created anything clear cut. And I think there wasn't a game of many chances. I think what it is it's just frustrating we let in that goal to make it 1-1 because it was just a scrappy goal. I just felt like we didn't clear our lines. I'll have to see it back to see, what really happened there. But yeah, it does feel frustrating because when you're 1-0 up for that period for so long, it's frustrating that we drew that. Not sure if it's 2 points dropped today, but I think what it is as well is where we've drawn so many games lately. You're just crying out for that win, aren't you? It feels like Groundhog. Shall I say? It feels like Groundhog Day today. It feels like Groundhog Day.
It's one of those performances, I think, for all of us, where that first 45 minutes or so in the first half was, I think, probably one of the better halves we've had so far this season. Matt, would you agree?
I'm a little bit. I think we still lack that. We've got a cutting edge, but we've not got. There's just something. I don't know what it is. There's something about our build-up play is brilliant. That final ball.
It's almost like we're missing a striker, Matt.
I'm not going to say the obvious. But it does feel for me. It feels like 2 drops. A static chance is just golden. It's a tap-in. If he doesn't touch it, it's a tap-in.
So we're now joined by Tom Large, who's just made his way up from the South Stand. Tom, what's your reaction?
The support downstairs today was fantastic. Really loud for the majority of parts of the games. When that goal went in, it was really good. It was a disappointment to concede, but there's serious encouraging signs. The introduction of Thomas today as well. He not just because he shares my name, but he had some serious skill, especially in the corners to draw a foul, which it's something I think we've lacked in that final third. Just a little bit of extra flair. So
you mentioned Thomas there. It was his debut today. Was that something that maybe shone through in terms of the style of play, the aggression he showed? A very promising debut.
Yeah, I think he was unlucky not to get on the ball more. I think had he been given extra maybe 20 minutes, he can kind of warm up into that game and kind of get used to it. Talking of debuts, I think Lee Brown had a very good debut today, and he just makes us look so much more defensively sound. We're back as a unit. He can get forward. There was nice little triangles just down on that left side of the pitch in the first half, and there's some serious improvement to come, I think.
Matt, of the Lee Brown, initial thoughts after a tough game for him to come in for a debut?
The calmness, the experience he has, the calmness on the ball. There was a couple of times where there was just, in essence, it was a simple pass he played, but it was effortless for him, and he does look like a brilliant left back and a great acquisition.
Yeah, I really like the look of Lee Brown today. He just has that experience, doesn't he? Like I said before the game, he looks like a Barry Fuller-esque type signing. A real captain, a real leader. There's a few things he was doing. Telling the ball boy to slow the ball down when it went out of play, and it just brings that bit more calmness to the back line. We obviously lost Ollie Palmer, which had that experience. It's good to, obviously Lee Brown's played hundreds of games in football league, so. He knows what this league's all about. I was really, really pleased with him. I think he's going to be one of these players who just constantly put in a 7 or 8 out of 10 week in, week out. That kind of consistent, level of performance you get from an experienced pro like Lee Brown.
Tom, I think one of those, perhaps maybe even one of those days for the Dons. But a couple of highlights there, obviously, with Thomas, with Lee Brown. How much importance do you think it was? Because bar probably the 10-second spell around their goal, we looked defensively solid today. Would you agree with that?
There was. I think in every game there's going to be moments when you slip up. Hennigan took out someone to kind of win a free kick. There's moments where you've misplaced passes, misplaced clearances, but that happens. So I think today it's been a huge step up in terms of how defensively sound we are, and it's something we can build on again and again and again. So excited for that, and the way we can link through to getting forward as well. Lee Brown links up well with our midfielders. George Marsh can drop back in, and then Woodard when he comes back into that team as well, I think we'll really benefit from that.
We'll shortly be joined by Nick Draper, who's lurking around in the studios. Looks like he's about to join us. But I think it's one of those things where it's today's performance. Do you think, Rob, that it was coming? Do you think that we maybe it didn't quite click in the second half? We lost that intensity, that energy level that did us well in the first half?
I think what it is for me, looking at the games recently, I think we just need that bit of luck. I feel like we need that ricochet for the ball to go in, or an own goal, or just something to fall our way. Obviously we got the early goal, but we just couldn't really capitalise on building it. And I think that's been the story of the last few games. So yeah, like I said, mixed reaction post-match, mixed reaction for me.
A decent ref would help as well.
Yeah, I think we had one at least penalty shout down the bottom.
Yeah.
And obviously, as a home fan, you're gonna want a penalty, but it did look pretty much nailed on.
There was also the one early on in the first half where Sal looked like he got dragged back.
Bit of a diving, didn't it?
Right at the end of the first half.
Before that, halfway through the first half, Sal looked like he's through and kind of got pulled back. There's also that one as well where Chislett, there was that one bouncing around, by the goal where Chislett could have maybe gone down and made the referee make a decision as well. But yeah, I don't really like to talk about the refs because I feel like they're all the same in League One, to be honest with you. So yeah.
We now go over to our technical area, who've got something to add.
The scores.
Okay. Well, we can't see the scores, so I'll hand over to Stuart Deacon, who actually has done his research, unlike me.
I actually have no idea what scores are, George, to be fair, but we're going to bring Nick over as well. Matt, you might stay in, we can still keep 5 on, can't we? I don't know what to say, Nick. I'm a little bit like
Deflated.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a positive thing to say. I think the positive thing is you have a T-shirt.
I have a T-shirt.
Which is...
if you're watching that, thank you very much. With the lyrics to Robbo's song, which I didn't hear today.
I heard it once.
Okay.
I heard it once, but what we do know is that Gingham have lost a close game at the Priestfield.
4 penalties, which is
7-2.
Cameron
They've
Brannigan
lost
must be
at
laughing if he's got a
home,
goal
which is an unbelievable thing, isn't it? Where's it? And Cheltenham have drawn at home to Wigan. So apologies, we're reading it off our phone. We don't have a TV in front of us, so we are a little bit like that. But guys, Cheltenham 0-0 against Wigan. Tom.
I think that's a good result for Cheltenham.
Yes, 2 good results.
Result. I mean, it's been a lot of upsets today, obviously with Sunderland getting beaten 6-0 as well. So I think it's been a strange day in the division, but yeah, can't really explain it.
Nick, we were just talking about that second half. I felt Shrewsbury in a way just bossed that second half. They played the game they wanted to play, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think the important thing for them was when they were really on top of us, they got the goal, which is what you always want to do. Awful goal, but they always are. They always are. But do you know what? I thought the goal seems to come from Will getting beaten for a header from the first ball. I think it was the first one he'd been beaten to all game. First half, we were dealing with those without any issue, without any trouble. And then just you lose one header, and then off the back of that, I couldn't work out what happened.
Scrappy.
Very scrappy in the 6-yard box.
Scrappy.
Yes, probably can't hear me very well.
You go now, I can shout.
That's reason. Okay.
I can shout.
Do you want me to sit down?
You go sit down.
Yeah,
I'll
sit
stand
down.
at the back.
Very scrappy. Wasn't sure kind of really what happened in the 6-yard box, and then. But then our tempo wasn't good enough, I didn't think, second half. I thought we came out, they were all over us at the start of the second half. We didn't really raise the tempo. Thought the subs actually helped sort of stem them a little bit. I thought Harton came on and calmed things down a bit. But we talk about experience and the youth of the team. Yeah. And I thought that last 20, 25 minutes, I think you saw that. I think we got really nervous, strange decision making, pressure started to pick up. And it's confidence as well when you got, what is it now, 9 without a win. And it just adds pressure to Tuesday. Every time you play and you don't win, it just builds up, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think I'd be interested to see what Robbo said at half time, because obviously we were 1-0 up at that stage, and was the message to, we have been looked quite defensively solid recently, so was the message at half time to hold on to the 1-0 lead. I don't really feel like that's Robbo's philosophy. No. However, we just didn't look our usual self second half. Shrewsbury really kind of got on top of us and started pinning us back, and we started going long, and obviously with no Ollie Palmer there's no real out ball, unfortunately, and the ball just kept coming back, and inevitably they took their chances. Well, they didn't have a lot of chances, but when that one chance came, when the subs came on, when Hartigan and the other subs came on, it was 1-0 at that point, and we're obviously trying to win the game at Plough Lane at home. You have to go for the 3 points, so maybe that's why we kind of come back into it a little bit. But I do think it's a mentality thing. Once you've gone 8 or 9 without a win, that does play on the players' minds. I mean, we're obviously aware of it as fans, so the players have got to be aware of it themselves.
Tom, what do you think of Shrewsbury in the sense of, at the end, I thought, at least in that last 10-15 minutes, I think we were trying to win the match. We were trying to get balls into the right areas and get balls in the box, but we seem to struggle. They just pack the penalty area and just don't let anything in that middle area. We get no joy.
I think we did seem to struggle, especially when the last couple of corners there seemed to be a bit of a gap with no one in it, and Shrewsbury seemed to be the first team on that, and we really were pushing so many men forward that it was allowing kind of a counter-attack, and it was risky in that sense. But Shrewsbury came out second half and just kind of knew how to turn us, to break us down and get behind us again. But I think that's probably down to an experience thing, as you guys have mentioned. I think the players not too sure on how to kind of alter a game without the overlook of Robbo and themselves, but that'll be something Lee Brown will bring to the team, and hopefully if we bring in another experienced striker, that can kind of help the front line develop and understand how to change a game in the last 10-15 minutes.
Matt, is that what we're after for Tuesday night, a centre forward?
Yes, I think we can all clearly see that I felt sorry for Terry sometimes in the first half. I thought we isolated him a little bit, but he ran his socks off, and he was getting beaten and bashed around, as were most of the team. But it's clear that there was a few times, especially in the second half, where we could have done with our approach play was very good. We were passing around the area, going to each wing. People were cutting defenders up, going to the byline. You then look in the box, and there's no one in the 6-yard box, and that is the difference. If you could just throw the ball into there to a striker who would be trying to get on the end of that, that's how you score goals.
I think the irony of all this though is that Sal was the one who got us in the lead with a header.
Yeah.
I was up here and when the ball, I was thinking, why are we crossing it high, play it along the floor? But it was a brilliant header by Sal, probably one, second smallest player on the pitch after Paul Soup potentially. The way their defence moved, they thought he was going to float it to the back to I think a Blake. They did not think that he was going to nip it to the front post to a Sal who's small. And rose like a salmon out of water.
One second header as well.
Yeah, it was a great header.
The
keeper didn't move. Keeper was absolutely rooted, just watched it go into his net. It was a great header.
Yeah, we took the goal really, really well. I mean, it comes from a little bit. We put some pressure on them. They play a slight pass. We work it really well from there, and then it just seemed to be the reverse in the second half, where they were pushing. As you're saying that, they knew that if they force us back, we were eventually going to have to start knocking long balls, and it was just going to come straight back to you. Frustrating. I guess Ayub as well. You could see referee probably did him a favour in the end, despite booking him for diving at the end of the first half, but had a real long chat with him after a foul. I think his frustration could have boiled over there. It looks like Cheltenham have had a man sent off today. I was thinking to save us from being sent off and potentially missing Tuesday. Cheltenham have had a player. They've lost a player today, so guessing they won't feature on Tuesday night. But they did. It's a good point for them. Home to Wigan. That's a great point for them.
Yeah, you take that all day long away to Wigan when you're to the top of the league. But this is what I like. Home today. But yeah, this is what I like. This is what I like about League One is you can't predict the scores. Anyone on their day can beat anyone. We've seen it before. Where we've beat top teams and dropped points to the teams in the bottom. It's topsy-turvy league. It's just whoever goes on a good run can really jump up that league table.
What else? I think everything else seemed to go Tom according to sort of we thought it would do. Crewe lost at home to Rotherham. Plymouth won at Fleetwood, I think. Doncaster, sorry.
Plymouth had gone behind at one point, so I don't know how that result finished out, but they've been so strong at the start of the season, they seem to have petered out slightly now.
Yeah.
But when we played them at our place, I thought they were beatable, Plymouth, but they went on an incredible run and only lost once for a while, but they seem to have dropped back down out of the playoff spots now.
Plymouth seem to have lost their momentum since they lost their manager. That's been a big hindrance to them, I think.
And we're now looking ahead, as we say. Cheltenham map becomes big game because following that, what do we have? We have Charlton away, really tough place to go. Then we have Rotherham at home. Then we have Sunderland. I know Sunderland have had a bizarre result today. I don't know what's happened there. They were 6-0 at Bolton. All eyes are on Tuesday.
All eyes are on Tuesday. It becomes another. I mean, the point here becomes, I suppose, a decent point if we can grab 3. I suppose 4 points from these 2 games, you would want 6, but forward from these two would be good. So now all eyes and all focus moves on to Cheltenham. We need that striker. That's what we need.
I said last Tuesday when I was on the show that against Ipswich, it felt like with that game in hand, it was a bit of a free hit. Obviously, I don't really like that time. No games are a proper free hit, but Cheltenham definitely does not kind of accommodate that category to me. Don't want to use things like 6 pointers. It's too early in the season, but it's a big game.
We have a question from our.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's more of a statement. Osu was a liability at the back.
Osu was a liability at the back.
From
who was
Hayes.
Not sure of that.
I'd like to hear more as sort of an expansion on what he did wrong. Particularly, I know you don't have it, Stu. I'd be interested to know because I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't know. I wouldn't have said anyone was a liability at the back today. I don't really think there was one save that Nick had to make from a bit of a drive from Reggie pulling that way well because the player caught hold of it really well. Aside from the goal, did they have really much?
I mean, the goal even came from our left-hand side, not even our right-hand side. The cross came in from the left, and then obviously we struggled to clear the ball. Yeah. I'm not sure about that comment about Osu as a liability. I think he, had his pretty solid game. I think he had a 7 out of 10 performance today. For me, didn't really put anything wrong. He wasn't man of the match or anything, but consistent performance for Osu today.
Who was Tom? Start with you, Tom. Who was your pick of our team today?
Pick of the team, I'd have to go. I think Marsh was just so good in the middle, and I think Lee Brown will follow up close behind that because I think he did have a very good debut. For me, Marsh, he picks the ball up, he doesn't hold away from a tackle either, which is fantastic. He's very much a follow-on from Woody. I think he'll learn he'll learn a lot from being next to him in midfield. But today it was fantastic.
Well, George Marsh won the official man of the match today, but for me, I really like to look at Jack Rodoni. I think got on the ball, tried to make things happen. Unfortunately, when he was putting the ball in the box, we just lacked that, number 9 at the moment. But really got on the ball and just really tried to make things happen. And just following on from Tom, I think Lee Brown had a solid debut for us. Considering he's only trained with us for like 1 day, he doesn't know many of the players in the squad. He said he only knew Alex Woodyard, and it turns out he's only played with him for England C at 1 or 2 appearances, I'd imagine. I think considering he was thrown in at left back today, I thought them 3 were my picks.
I'll add, I think Chislett to that. I thought his run and cross for the goal I thought was great. I thought he was unlucky to come off, but that might be possibly Tuesday fitness and stuff. So I thought he was good. I thought Macca, again as usual, pretty much solid. And as you say, Rudy had that shot that whistled past the post. But that was our way in. I think that quick movement forward and then the shot from outside the area. I think if we carried that on, I think we might have clinched it. But they just, once they wanted to shut everything down, and the telling thing with me was when they started to press and we carried on playing. As soon as we started to get a foothold, I don't know if anyone else noticed, suddenly they started to go down and there was breaks in play. And it's just part and parcel of football, and sometimes the dark arts are something that we, being young and inexperienced, sometimes I think we lack that sometimes.
Can I just say the moment of the match for me was when we had the drop ball with Nick Saniff and all their players were drinking water on the sides. That just made me laugh today. They were taking forever with as our drop ball, they were taking forever, and the ref went, then let's just get on with it, and they weren't too happy. I can't say that was funny today. Yeah.
Another question?
Got an expansion.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So Pep Hayes is back, which is put on now. So he's great going forward, but like Walker, he has no defending brain. I'm guessing we're looking at Carl Walker.
It's not a bad comparison.
Carl Walker, obviously. Yeah. That's. I'm assuming he's meaning Nesta there. But.
Oh yeah.
Say nothing. You're not on camera, Stu, don't worry. I don't know. Osu is one of these players that seems to be, and Nesta was the same, because our people around me, behind me, God love them, they tend to find somebody to pick holes in. Osu started as a left winger when he first came to the side, didn't he?
Yep.
But, under
he was a striker at youth level as well.
Striker at youth level. So he's learning a position. And I think, doesn't that go for a whole team? Young team, they're all learning at the moment, and I think obviously he's been excellent.
He's come on leaps and bounds as well. Like you see him now taking a man on. Like, I think he got a nutmeg in the first half.
Yeah.
And before last season, you would never have seen him do that. He kind of used to use his speed to get to the corner and then be like, oh, what do I do now? I've got all this space to work with. Now he gets the ball, has a shot against Pompey and today as well. He has a shot and really challenges that goal. But defensively, I think he's stepped up again in the defensive actually. He steps into players, wins the ball back, and is probably. We do have a really strong right side at the back now with him and Alexander.
I think maybe one of the problems is for the viewers, maybe at home watching the iPhone, is when you get a player like Lee Brown coming to the side with all that experience, you can tell the level, doing the difference. Like he's a step up from Lester Guinness Walker today, just because he's got that league experience. And this is what I think a few other fans forget is Paul Osu, Lester Guinness Walker. They're both learning on the job. And also, personally, I think they both probably would be better as wing backs in a 3-5-2. As fullbacks. I think they're both. I do agree with the statement that with Nesto and Osu, they're both better going forward than probably defensively. But at the end of the day, this is their. I think it might be Osu's first season in front of crowds. He obviously played last season. Well, it was at Kingsway though. Yeah. But he's still learning on the job. At the end of the day,
Elliot Bennett was actually playing sort of wing back for Shrewsbury today, and I think that's probably a good sort of comparison to make, because I thought he was really, really good, and perhaps that's a role you're right that Osu could perhaps fill in at some point. The other point you made, Matt, actually going back a little bit, was Chislett and how well he played. Is there an argument for switching Chislett and McCormick?
For me personally, I think Macca is better in that role because he can link play better.
Okay.
And although I do really like Macca in a forward position, currently with Woodyard out, I think Marsh and Macca would be our best option in that kind of holding midfield, and Chislett can have that to terrorise defenders and kind of get us forward and link that pass from Macca to the attack.
See, I agree with you, Nick. I think I'd like to see Luke McCormick in the number 10 role for the defensive role, but then I can't see Chislett doing that defensive role, in which case Ant Hartigan comes in for Chislett, and Chislett has played fantastically well for the last two sides. Bit of a selection headache for Robbo with that one. Unfortunately, I don't see a way you can fit them all into the side. So do you drop Radonia or Sal for Chislett? It's a right selection headache in my opinion on that side of things. I do like Luke McCormick in the number 10. We spoke about him before the game, the amount of goals and assists he got so far. He's a big influential player, and I think when you've got one of your main players, instead of playing in the number 10, playing as a number 8. I think we lose a bit of an attacking threat.
No, Chislett.
I like it.
You've already mentioned him.
I'm already a fan, so I think Macca in the more forward role. Chislett is I suppose in the same sort of vein, but again you've got Harsken who came on very good in distributing the ball, calmed us down, spreading the ball wide out onto the wings to Osu and Brown, and it's a selection headache for Robbo, because do you try and change the formation to fit them in, or do you carry on as you are? But it's a good selection headache. I mean, if they're both playing, there was a visible difference when Macca was moved forwards when Hartigan came on. It's fitting these players in that are in form into the side, whichever way you can, and that's why I don't want to be a coach.
No, this is it. This is why he makes the big money. Rob, sort of finishing off, biggest positive took away from today?
We didn't lose.
There you go, that's a positive.
Positive, if we draw every single game to the end of the season, we stay up on points per game is what I'm trying to work out, because there's a lot of draws at the moment. But we didn't lose today. I think if we can just get a striker on deadline day in, obviously it has to be the right person. I don't want to just go for anyone. Then Tuesday, like I said, it's something to build on.
So, biggest.
For me, the introduction of Thomas into the side, I think he looks like a real breath of fresh air with a bit of flair, and for me, it was a real benefit.
No.
One, we didn't lose. 2, we scored. I got to celebrate. I forgot the goal went in. I forgot to stand up and cheer.
Like, what is this? What is happening?
And 3, your T-shirt.
And my T-shirt, 100% my T-shirt with the lyrics to the Robbo song on it. I think we have to look at the fact we scored a goal, first goal at home in 2022. So that's a positive.
Yep.
I thought Ayoub first half looked really, really lively, causing lots of problems. We go again on Tuesday. Right, unless there's any more questions from the viewing public. I'm taking that as a no, George.
Yeah, for no.
I've never seen someone shake their head so many times. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. We'll be back on Tuesday night, yes, for the visit of Cheltenham Town. I will just say another final thank you to Matt Haylock for giving us this T-shirt. These are available in the club shop or online for delivery for, I'm sure, a reasonable price. And it fits quite nicely. This is a large. It's snug above my Wimbledon top.
Good. You will wear it on Tuesday.
I will wear it on Tuesday. Yes. Thank you, gents. So Tom, Rob, and Matt, thank you very much for joining me and starting off the show as well, as I got stuck in traffic. And George and Stu and Spike behind the camera as well, and George on the camera. George everywhere somehow. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere. We'll see you on Tuesday.